century, this last 100 years, very intelligent people have done these experiments, and they've worked and worked and worked to try and create life, to come to the conclusion that life was not created by an intelligent being. That's what they're trying to prove. That life was not created by somebody intelligent, but really intelligent people over 100 years have been doing experiments and they can't do it. Which tells me that it's complex and not simple. That it's really complicated and it really might take a really intelligent designer to make something as intelligent as life. One of the other things is that evolution does not explain how species has gotten from one species to another. From a cow, they actually say cows turn into whales. Was one of the theories. And I'm not sure quite how long a cow has to tread water. And I'm not trying to. I'm really not trying to poke fun. I just had this thought in my mind how long you would have to be out there. It wouldn't just be one cow, it'd be two. So you'd have to mate and stuff. But anyways, they have no evidence of transitions between species. All we see in the fossil record is one species of its kind living and dying, and there's no transitional fossils from one species to another species. It hasn't been found. Darwin himself said that if his theory was true, that tens of millions of transitional fossils would be evident in the fossil record. None are evident, and there's none observed today. Also, the second law of thermodynamics talks about entropy, that things lose energy. Things lose energy. Systems lose energy. Things break down. Things get worse. Things go from a state of order to disorder. That's how our world works. It's obvious. You know, life works that way. Your room works that way. You put it in order, and it gets disorder. And entropy is just at work everywhere. My geo is breaking down at a very regular rate. The speed is rusting, it's falling apart, stuff's falling off. People fall out. It's not safe. And it used to be, they tell me it used to be a nice car. Things break down. The world works that way. Things go from a state of order to disorder, not the other way around. And evolution works against the second law of thermodynamics. A law is something that has really been observed and proven in science, and they use it because they have observed it so much that it makes sense to think about and to run all of science by it. And that's a law. They've created it, they made it a law. They've noticed it. Evolution works completely against the second law of thermodynamics. That's pretty. I'm sorry, I really have ADD. If you don't know me, cell phones are bad for me. Also, the simplest cell, and they say, evolution says it started as a simple cell, the basic life. But if you look at even the most simplest cell that exists, is so complicated that they can't map out all the chemical reactions that happen within a simple cell. They don't know all the complexity of the simplest cell yet. It is so complex. And inside that cell is a thumbprint of that genetic code, the DNA. The information that makes it run and do what it does is imprinted at the center of the cell. The DNA of that. How does that get there? Information in the simplest organism that exists already exists within that cell. And so the idea that that came about by random chance, and that's what evolution has to call how life happened. It happened randomly. It was chance. It was electricity hitting particles that came together to create life. And it really seems, when you think about it, it really seems like the more logical argument is that this incredibly complex thing we call life, cells, you and me, and all of this working together, its complexity, I think, has to just cry out for a complex and intelligent design. We see the laws of physics and gravity, all the things that make this world run how it does. I think that it makes sense that there has to be a lawgiver to put those laws into place. One of the arguments for intelligent design says when you see something that's complex, like when you look at your, who has a watch on? Or you see your cell phone, and you look at this cell phone, you don't just assume that this happened accidentally. You don't assume that the parts of your cell phone that are getting increasingly more complex. I have a large phone like this. It looks like I'm talking into a calculator. Incredibly complex. I really just use it to call people. I don't know why I have such a complex. I put dates in it. You know, it helps that. Other than that, I have no idea how it works. Incredibly complex. But something this complex, you don't just assume. You don't look at it and say, "Man, that looked like it happened by accident." I had a conversation with a guy. I took a philosophy class at Edinburgh. I just sat in on it, which people thought was really weird, but it was fascinating. I didn't take it at a test, so I